The woman's lips were turning blue. Liam Patterson spotted her through the whiteout, slumped against a luxury sedan, half buried in snow. He slammed the brakes, bolted into the storm. Her skin burned ice-cold under his calloused hands. Hypothermia. Minutes, maybe less. He hauled her dead weight through waist-deep drifts, shoved her into his truck, cranked the heat until it rattled. The nearest hospital sat 40 miles away. The blizzard swallowed the road ahead. He made a choice, gunned the engine toward home, toward the cramped cabin where his 8-year-old son waited. She woke in a strange place, firelight flickering, a child's laughter somewhere close, the scent of something cooking on an old stove. For 3 days, the storm raged outside. She said nothing about who she was. He asked nothing about where she came from. But in that small refuge, something shifted, something neither of them expected, something that would change everything. The dashboard clock read 11:47 when Liam Patterson felt his eyelids start to drag. 14 hours of driving through Montana's back highways with industrial equipment that should have been delivered 2 days ago. The company didn't care about excuses. They cared about schedules. Missed too many, and you found yourself looking for work somewhere else. He couldn't afford that. Not with Noah depending on him. The snow had started as a whisper 3 hours back. Now it came down in sheets, turning the highway into a tunnel of white. Visibility dropped to 20 feet, then 10. The radio crackled warnings about road closures. Liam gripped the wheel tighter. 20 more miles to the truck stop. His phone buzzed. Noah's name lit up the screen. "Hey, buddy, you should be asleep." "I know." Noah's voice sounded small. "I just wanted to make sure you're okay. The news says there's a big storm." "I'm fine. Almost to a place where I can stop." "Promise?" "Promise!" Liam's throat tightened. The kid worried too much for 8 years old. "Mrs. Chen still there with you?" "Yeah, Dad. When are you coming home?" "Day after tomorrow, if the road's clear. We'll go to that diner you like. The ones with Mickey Mouse pancakes." "Those exact ones." Liam smiled despite the exhaustion. "Now get some sleep. School tomorrow." "Okay. Love you, Dad." "Love you too, Noah." The call ended. Liam stared at the wall of white ahead. The temperature gauge showed 19 degrees and dropping. Dangerous conditions. The kind that killed people who got stranded. That's when he saw the car. A dark shape off the shoulder. The angle was wrong. It sat too low. Front end dipped down like it had slid into the ditch. No lights, no exhaust plume, no sign of life. Every instinct screamed at him to keep driving. He was already late. Already at risk of losing this contract. But the shape pulled at him. He thought of Noah. Thought of what he'd want his son to do if he saw someone in trouble. He eased the truck onto the shoulder. The sedan was a Mercedes. Dark blue, expensive. Liam aimed his flashlight through the driver's side window. Empty. He moved to the passenger side. There. A figure slumped in the seat, head tilted back. Liam yanked on the door handle. Locked. He wrapped his jacket around his elbow and slammed it into the window. The glass shattered. He reached through, popped the lock, and wrenched the door open. The woman didn't move. He pressed 2 fingers against her neck. Pulse weak but there. Her skin felt like marble. Lips tinged blue. He checked her phone. Dead battery. "Come on, stay with me." He shook her gently. Her eyelids fluttered but didn't open. He unclipped her seatbelt, worked his arms under her shoulders and knees, and lifted. The wind fought him every step back to his truck. His boots kept sinking. His arms burned. He reached the truck, hauled her up into the passenger seat, and cranked the heat to maximum. Found a blanket ratty but warm and wrapped her in it. His phone showed no signal. The nearest hospital was 43 miles away. In this storm, could take 2 hours. She didn't have 2 hours. But his cabin was close. 12 miles up a gravel road he knew blind. He could get there, get her warm, get her stable. He put the truck in gear. The drive became a fight. Wind battered the truck. Snow accumulated faster than the wipers could clear it. Liam drove by memory and instinct, counting off landmarks he couldn't see. 26 minutes later, he found the turnoff. The truck lurched onto the gravel path, tires spinning, then caught and pulled them up through the forest. The cabin appeared small and dark, hunched against the storm. Not much, but it was shelter. Liam carried the woman inside. The air felt barely warmer than outside. Power was out. He laid her on the couch and went to work. Started the generator. Plugged in the space heater. Built a fire in the fireplace. Her breathing evened out slightly. Color started returning to her cheeks. He checked her clothes, silk blouse, expensive slacks, both soaked through. He hesitated, then grabbed one of his flannel shirts and sweatpants, changed her into dry clothes, trying not to look too closely. She stirred once, but didn't wake. He checked her hands and feet for frostbite. The tips of her fingers looked red, but not blackened. She'd been lucky. Another hour and she'd be dead. Liam pulled a chair close and watched her breathe. Outside, the wind howled. The cabin creaked and settled. Warm now. Safe. He didn't know who she was. Didn't know what she'd been doing out there. All he knew was that she was alive. And for now, that was enough. The woman woke to the smell of coffee and something frying. She blinked against firelight, casting shadows on log walls. Confusion flooded her. She tried to sit up and pain lanced through her skull. "Easy," a man's voice, rough but gentle. "You've been out for a while." She turned her head. Saw him by a small stove, 30s, dark hair, weathered face, kind eyes. "Where am I?" "My cabin, 12 miles west of Highway 23. He moved closer. "I found you in your car last night. You were hypothermic. I couldn't get you to a hospital in the storm, so I brought you here." Memory came back in pieces. The meeting running late, the decision to drive back, the snow, her car sliding, the cold. "You saved my life." Anyone would have done the same. "Not anyone." She tried to sit up. He reached out to steady her. "Thank you. Don't mention it." He stepped back. "I'm Liam. Liam Patterson. Charlotte." She almost added her last name, almost followed it with her title. CEO, Coastline Logistics. But something stopped her. Just Charlotte. "Well, just Charlotte. You hungry? I made eggs." Her stomach growled. Liam smiled. "How do you feel? Any numbness?" She flexed her hands, wiggled her toes. "I'm okay. Sore, but okay." "Good." He brought over a plate of scrambled eggs and hash browns. "It's not much. Power's out, but it'll fill you up." Charlotte took the plate. The eggs tasted like the best thing she'd ever eaten. They ate in comfortable silence. Charlotte studied him between bites. The lines around his eyes, the calluses on his hands, the weariness in his shoulders. A working man. The kind her board members never saw. The kind her company relied on but rarely thought about. "The storm's still bad," Liam said. "Roads won't be clear for a couple days. You're welcome to stay until it's safe. I don't want to impose." "You're not. My son's at a neighbor's in town. Won't be back until I can get down safely. So it's just us." "You have a son." "Noah. He's 8. Liam's face lit up. "Smart kid. Too smart sometimes. Worries about me when I'm on the road." "What do you do?" "Long-haul trucking. Drive for Coastline Logistics." He paused. "Probably just got myself fired missing this delivery. Her company. He worked for her company. And he'd abandoned a delivery to save her life. The irony hit her like a physical weight. She opened her mouth to tell him, then closed it. That would make this transactional. Would ruin the simple humanity of what he'd done. "I'm sure they'll understand," she said carefully. Liam shrugged. "Companies like that don't usually care about circumstances. They care about numbers." He stood, collected their plates. "You should rest more." He moved to the sink. Charlotte watched him glance at a photo on the wall, a young boy with dark hair and bright eyes, grinning at the camera, watched the small smile that touched his face. She settled deeper into the couch. The fire warmed her, and for the first time in longer than she could remember, Charlotte Reed felt something strange. She felt safe. The day passed in quiet rhythms. Charlotte drifted in and out of sleep. Each time she woke, Liam was there, feeding the fire, checking the generator, making tea. He moved with practiced ease, never intrusive, always aware. By evening, she felt strong enough to sit up properly. Liam made soup and they ate together at the small table by the window. Snow piled against the glass in drifts. "Tell me about Noah," Charlotte said. "What do you want to know?" "Everything." So, Liam told her. About a kid who loved dinosaurs and refused to believe they were extinct, who insisted they'd just gotten better at hiding. About bedtime stories that went off script. About a boy who saved his allowance to buy his dad a new jacket, $2 a week, towards something that cost 100 times that. The intent mattered to Noah. The love mattered. "He sounds wonderful," Charlotte said. Something in her chest pulled tight. "You're doing a good job." "I'm doing my best. It's not always enough. It's more than you think." Liam met her eyes. Something passed between them, understanding, maybe. Recognition. "What about you?" he asked. "What's your story?" She hesitated. "I work in logistics too. Different side. Management. Based in Missoula. I was coming back from a meeting when the storm hit. Long drive for a meeting. Important client." Not a lie. The board meeting had been crucial, discussing efficiency protocols that would cut costs by 17%. Protocols that meant tighter schedules for drivers. Sitting here now, watching Liam's exhausted face, those numbers felt different. Felt like pressure on human beings. On fathers trying to provide for sons. "You married?" "No. Was engaged once, but it didn't work out." How to explain she'd chosen her career over Daniel? That when he'd given the ultimatum, she'd barely hesitated? "Sorry to hear that." "Don't be. I'm not." But here, in this small cabin with this man who'd built his life around his son, it rang hollow. "What about you? Noah's mother?" Liam's face closed off slightly. "She left when he was 3. Said she wasn't cut out for motherhood. Wanted more than I could give her." "But you can blame her for abandoning her child." He looked at her, surprised, then nodded. "Yeah, I guess I can." He moved to the sink. "Noah deserved better. He has you. That's pretty good. Some days it doesn't feel like enough. Working all the time, missing his school things, leaving him with neighbors." His hands gripped the sink. "Every time I leave, I see him trying not to cry. And I hate that he has to be that strong at 8. Charlotte stood, moved closer. "He's strong because you taught him to be. But he's also loved. Anyone can see that. And love counts for more than people think." Liam turned. They stood close enough that she could see the gold flecks in his brown eyes, close enough to feel the warmth radiating from him. "Thank you," he said quietly. "I mean it." The moment stretched. Charlotte felt something shift between them, awareness, connection. Then Liam stepped back. "I should check the generator." He grabbed his coat and slipped outside. Charlotte stood alone, heart beating faster than it should. This was just proximity, just forced intimacy. But she knew it wasn't true. The second day dawned gray and quiet. The storm had exhausted itself, leaving behind a world buried in white. Charlotte woke to sunlight and the smell of something cooking. "Morning," Liam said. "Sleep okay?" "Better than I have in months." "Made oatmeal. Found some brown sugar." They ate together, comfortable now. The awkward uncertainty had burned away. Liam mentioned hiking down to check road conditions. Charlotte insisted on coming. They bundled up and ventured out. The world had transformed pristine snow, unmarked except for animal tracks. Trees bowed under white weight. Sun glinted off ice crystals. They walked in silence. Liam led, breaking trail. Charlotte followed in his footsteps. She watched his shoulders, the confident way he moved. This was his world. The main road sat buried under 4 feet of snow. No traffic, no plows, impassable. "We're stuck for at least another day," Liam said. "I'm sorry. Don't apologize. You saved my life, remember?" Charlotte looked around. Besides, there are worse places to be stranded. They walked back slowly. Charlotte found herself telling him things she'd never told anyone about the pressure of running a company, about board members who cared more about profits than people, about the loneliness of being at the top. Liam listened, didn't interrupt, just listened. Back at the cabin, they worked together preparing lunch. Liam showed her how to heat canned chili over the fire. Charlotte laughed at her own incompetence. She, who commanded a $50 million company, couldn't work a manual can opener. "It's harder than it looks," Liam said, grinning. He guided her hands, his fingers warm over hers. Neither pulled away immediately. The afternoon passed in quiet companionship. They played cards, Go Fish, and War. Charlotte couldn't remember the last time she'd done something so pointless, so free of objective. It felt wonderful. As evening approached, Liam's phone buzzed. His face lit up. "It's Noah. Video call." "Dad. Are you okay?" "I'm fine, buddy. Safe and warm." "Who's that?" Noah had spotted Charlotte. Charlotte moved into frame. "Hi, Noah. I'm Charlotte. I'm a friend of your dad's." The boy studied her. "Are you the one Dad saved?" "I am. Your dad's a hero." "I know." Noah grinned. "He's the best dad ever." "I can see that." After the call ended, they made dinner pasta with jarred sauce. Ate by firelight. Talked about dreams and hopes. "You could change your company," Liam said. "If you wanted to." Charlotte shook her head. "It's not that simple. I have a board. Shareholders. But your management. You have influence. Some. Not as much as you'd think. I think you sell yourself short." He leaned forward. "You're smart. Tough. If you wanted to change things, you'd find a way." His faith in her struck something deep. Charlotte blinked back tears. "Maybe." "Not maybe. You would." They sat in comfortable silence as the fire burned low. Charlotte realized she didn't want this to end. Didn't want to go back to her world of conference calls and profit reports. Wanted to stay here with this man who saw her as just Charlotte. But tomorrow the roads would open. Tomorrow everything would change. The third morning brought the sound of distant engines. Charlotte woke to Liam at the window, phone to his ear. "Plows are working the roads. Should be clear by afternoon." His voice had shifted. Gone guarded. "I got a call from my dispatcher. They sent someone to look for me. They'll be here in an hour." Reality crashed in. Charlotte's stomach dropped. An hour. In the distance, she could see vehicles, a plow, and behind it, a dark SUV with the Coastline logo. "Liam, I need to tell you something." "It's okay. You don't owe me anything." "That's not what I mean." She turned to face him. "I haven't been completely honest." He went still. "What do you mean?" The SUV drew closer. Charlotte recognized Jerome, her head of operations. They'd come themselves. The CEO had gone missing. "My name is Charlotte Reed." She watched his face. "I'm the CEO of Coastline Logistics." The color drained from Liam's face. "What?" "I was driving back from a board meeting when my car went off the road. You saved my life. And I didn't tell you because I didn't want this to become transactional. I didn't want you to treat me differently. You're my boss." Liam's laugh came out harsh. "You've been my boss this whole time, and you didn't think that was important. I know how it sounds." "Do you?" He backed away. "I told you things, personal things, about Noah, about how scared I am, and all this time you were—" He stopped, shook his head. "Did you think this was funny?" "No. God, no, Liam." The knock cut her off. Liam stared at her betrayal, written clear, then went to answer. Jerome burst in with Karen from HR. "Miss Reed. Thank God." We've been trying to reach you. Charlotte held up a hand. I'm fine. Mr. Patterson found me before I could freeze to death. He saved my life. Jerome looked at Liam. You're one of our drivers. You missed your delivery window. I know. Liam's voice had gone flat. I had to make a choice. We appreciate you helping Miss Reed, but there are protocols. We'll need to file an incident report. Jerome. Charlotte's voice cracked like a whip. Mr. Patterson missed his delivery because he was saving my life. There will be no incident report. No penalties. There will be a commendation in his file, and a bonus for his exceptional judgment. Of course, Miss Reed. Consider this a direct order. Mr. Patterson's record shows only that he acted with extraordinary courage. She looked at Liam. He wouldn't meet her eyes. Is that clear? Crystal clear, ma'am. Give us a moment, please. Jerome and Karen retreated. Charlotte turned to Liam. He stood with arms crossed, jaw tight. I'm sorry, she said quietly. I should have told you immediately. These past 2 days have been the most real thing I've experienced in years. You didn't treat me like CEO Reed. You treated me like a person. And I was selfish enough to want that to continue. You lied to me. I did, and I'm sorry. She stepped closer. But everything else was real. Every conversation, every moment. That wasn't the CEO talking. That was me. Just Charlotte. There is no just Charlotte. His voice came out rough. There's Charlotte Reed, CEO, the woman who holds my job in her hands. The woman who decides whether Noah eats next month. That's not all I am. Maybe not. But it's enough to matter. He looked at her. The warmth had frozen over. Thank you for the commendation. But I think you should go now. The words hit like physical blows. Charlotte wanted to argue. But she saw the wall he'd built, solid and high and maybe deserved. Okay. She moved to the door. Stopped. For what it's worth, you're right. About me selling myself short. About making the company mean something more. I'm going to try. Really try. She met his eyes. Because a man who gives up everything to save a stranger deserves to work for a company that values him. She left before he could respond. Got into the SUV. Karen wrapped a blanket around her shoulders. Charlotte's eyes stayed on the cabin. Liam appeared in the doorway, watched them, face unreadable. The SUV pulled away. Charlotte looked back until the cabin disappeared. Then she closed her eyes and tried to pretend the ache in her chest was just residual hypothermia. It didn't work. 6 months passed. Charlotte threw herself into work with an intensity that worried her board. But the work had changed. She had changed. Every policy she reviewed, she saw through different eyes now. Saw the human cost in the efficiency metrics. Saw the father's missing bedtimes in the optimized schedules. Saw Liam's exhausted face in every driver file. She started small. Increased rest period requirements. Mandated maximum driving hours violate them. And the company faced penalties, not the drivers. Added mental health support. Created emergency family leave for single parents. The board pushed back. Shareholders grumbled. Charlotte held firm. These changes will cost us short-term, she told them. But they'll save us long-term. Lower turnover, better retention. Drivers who are loyal because we're loyal to them first. That's worth more than quarterly profits. The numbers proved her right. Slowly, the culture shifted. Drivers who'd been looking for other work stayed. New applicants mentioned the policies in interviews. Coastline's reputation began to change from a company that squeezed workers to one that actually cared. But Charlotte couldn't bring herself to check on Liam specifically. She'd given instructions that his file was off-limits, didn't trust herself not to give special treatment, and he'd hate that. She heard through the grapevine he was still driving, still providing for Noah. It had to be enough, but it wasn't. The call came on a Tuesday evening. Charlotte sat in her office reviewing safety reports when her assistant buzzed through. Miss Reed, there's a driver here to see you. Says it's important. He doesn't have an appointment. Who is it? A pause. Liam Patterson, ma'am. Charlotte's heart stopped, then started again, double time. Send him in. She stood, smoothed her jacket, tried to calm her breathing. The door opened. Liam walked in. He looked the same, weathered, tired, carrying weight. But something in his face had softened. The anger had faded. "Hi," he said. "Hi." Charlotte gestured to the chair. "Please, sit." He sat, looked around the office floor to ceiling windows, expensive furniture, the trappings of power. "I wanted to thank you," he said, "for the changes, the new policies. They've made a real difference. For me and for a lot of drivers. I'm glad. That's what they were meant to do. I know some people on the board weren't happy." Charlotte shrugged. "Some of them will never be happy unless we're extracting maximum profit. But enough of them see the value in treating people like people. Because of you." He leaned forward. "You did this. Changed the whole culture. That takes guts. You told me I could. In the cabin. You said if I wanted to change things, I'd find a way." She met his eyes. "You were right." Silence stretched between them. The office felt too big, too formal, too far from that small cabin. "I'm sorry," Liam said quietly, "for how I reacted that day. I was hurt, felt lied to, but I understand why you didn't tell me, and I've had time to think about everything that happened. I'm sorry too, for not being honest. You deserved better. We both did." He smiled, small but genuine. "So maybe we start over? Reset?" Hope fluttered in Charlotte's chest. "I'd like that." Liam stood, extended his hand. "Hi, I'm Liam Patterson. I drive trucks and raise a kid who thinks dinosaurs are hiding in Canada." Charlotte laughed, took his hand. His palm was still calloused, still warm. "Charlotte Reed. I run a logistics company and apparently can't work a manual can opener. Nice to meet you, Charlotte Reed." "Nice to meet you, Liam Patterson." They shook, held on longer than necessary. Neither pulled away first. "So," Liam said, "I was wondering if you'd like to get dinner sometime. Nothing fancy. Just food and conversation. No blizzards required." Charlotte's smile widened. "I'd like that very much." "Good, because Noah's been asking about you. Wants to know if the lady from the video call is really my friend." "What did you tell him?" "That I hoped she was. That I wanted her to be." He met her eyes. "That she was someone special." Charlotte's breath caught. "I am. Your friend, I mean. If you'll have me." "I will." Liam moved to the door, then stopped. "By the way, what you said in the cabin about love counting for more than people think. You were right about that, too." He left before she could respond. Charlotte stood alone in her expensive office and felt something settle in her chest. Something that had been displaced for a very long time. She felt like herself again, like Charlotte. Just Charlotte. And that was enough. The diner Noah chose specialized in breakfast all day. Charlotte arrived early, nervous in a way she hadn't been since her first board presentation. This mattered more. This was about being liked by an 8-year-old whose opinion she valued more than any shareholders. Liam and Noah arrived on time. Noah burst through the door first, dark hair and cowlicks, eyes bright. "You're Charlotte, the lady Dad saved." He clambered into the seat across from her. "Dad says you're really important at his company." "I work there, yes. But your dad's the one doing the real work." "That's what I said," Noah bounced. "Dad drives everywhere. He brought me a red rock from North Dakota." That launched Noah into an enthusiastic geology explanation. Charlotte found herself completely charmed. She caught Liam watching her with a soft expression. They ordered Mickey Mouse pancakes for Noah, eggs for Liam, French toast for Charlotte. They ate while Noah peppered Charlotte with questions about everything from dinosaurs to whether she knew how to drive a truck. "I don't." "Your dad will have to teach me." "I could teach you," Noah offered. "I know all about trucks." "That would be very helpful. Thank you, Noah." The boy beamed. Liam mouthed, "Thank you." Charlotte shook her head. She wasn't doing anything except being herself. But she saw what it meant to him that someone saw Noah for the bright, wonderful kid he was. After breakfast, they walked to a nearby park. Noah ran ahead to the swings. Liam and Charlotte followed. "He likes you," Liam said. "I can tell." "I like him. He's incredible. You've done such a good job." "Some days I'm not sure. But then he does something like today, so excited, so open, and I think maybe I haven't screwed it up." "You haven't screwed anything up. Look at him." They watched Noah swinging, laughing with pure joy. He's happy. He's loved. That's everything. Noah eventually tired of swinging. Liam settled onto the swing beside Charlotte. "Can I ask you something?" "Anything." "That first night in the cabin when you almost added something to your name. What was it?" Charlotte considered lying. But they'd promised honesty. "My title? I almost said Charlotte Reed, CEO. Force of habit. But you didn't." "No. Because I wanted one moment where I wasn't that person. Where I was just me. Does that make sense?" "Yeah." Liam pushed off with his feet. "It does. I think we all want to be seen for who we are, not what we do. But what we do matters." "Sure. But it's not all we are." He looked at her. "You're Charlotte Reed, CEO, but you're also the woman who laughed at herself for the can opener. The woman who beat me at Go Fish. The woman who cried a little when I told you about Noah saving for my jacket." "I didn't cry." "You did, just a little." Charlotte felt her face heat. "Okay, maybe a little. It was sweet. It was Noah. He's got more heart than any kid should have." Liam's voice went rough. "I just hope I can give him the life he deserves." "You already are. You're giving him something money can't buy, a parent who loves him completely. Trust me, that's worth more than anything." They swung in comfortable silence. Noah ran up, asking about ice cream. They walked to a shop, got cones chocolate for Noah, vanilla for Liam, strawberry for Charlotte, and ate them overlooking the river. The afternoon faded. Eventually, Liam said they needed to go school night, early route tomorrow. Charlotte walked them to their truck. "Thank you for today," she said. "I had a wonderful time." "So did we. Right, Noah?" "Right. Charlotte, can we do this again?" "I'd love to." "Next weekend?" "I'll be there." Charlotte stepped back. The truck rumbled to life. As they pulled away, Noah waved frantically. Charlotte waved back until they disappeared. She stood on the sidewalk and realized something. For the first time in her adult life, she'd spent a day not thinking about work, not checking her phone constantly, not mentally reviewing presentations. She'd just been present, just been Charlotte. And it had been perfect. The weeks that followed developed a rhythm. Charlotte saw Liam and Noah every weekend. They went to movies Noah picked, always animated. They visited museums where Noah asked unanswerable questions. They cooked dinner at Liam's apartment, a small two-bedroom place with Noah's artwork covering the fridge. Charlotte found herself fitting into their lives like she'd always been there. She learned Noah's routines, bedtime at 8:30 with a story and dinosaur night light. Learned Liam's tells the neck rub when stressed, the slight smile when trying not to laugh. She watched them navigate their world with grace despite difficulties. But Charlotte saw the strain, saw Liam working double shifts for Noah's dental appointment, saw him choosing not to fix the truck's heating because Noah needed winter boots, and she wanted to help. But she knew Liam would refuse, would see it as charity. So she did it differently, quietly. She approved a company-wide pay increase for drivers, tied to experience and safety records. Liam's salary went up 18%. She created a scholarship fund for employees' children funded anonymously. Noah qualified on merit. She expanded health insurance to cover dental fully. None of it came from her directly. None could be traced to Charlotte Reed caring about Liam Patterson specifically. But she did care, more than she'd planned. She realized it on a Tuesday night in April, 3 months after that first dinner. She'd stayed at Liam's while he worked a late shift, watching Noah and helping with homework. They'd made mac and cheese from a box. Noah had chattered about his science project. When Liam came home at 9, exhausted and smelling of diesel, he found them on the couch, Charlotte reading while Noah dozed against her shoulder. He'd frozen in the doorway, just stood there, looking at them with such naked longing it made Charlotte's chest ache. "Sorry," he'd said quietly. "Didn't mean to wake you." "You didn't." He just fell asleep. Charlotte shifted carefully. How was the run? Long, tiring. Liam moved closer, brushed hair off Noah's forehead with gentle fingers. "Thank you for staying with him. There's nowhere I'd rather be." The words came out honest and raw. Liam's eyes snapped to hers. They stared at each other over Noah's sleeping form. The moment stretched, deepened. Charlotte felt something shift, the friendship tilting into something more. "Charlotte, I should go. Let you put him to bed." She stood, transferring Noah to his father's arms. "Same time next week?" "Yeah." Liam's voice had gone rough. "Charlotte, Good night, Liam." She grabbed her coat, moved to the door, stopped. "You asked me once what I wanted. What my dreams were. I told you about changing the company. But that's not all." She looked back. "I want this. What you have. Connection. Family. Something real. I just wanted you to know that." She left before he could respond. Drove home, sat in her apartment, expensive and spacious and utterly empty, and let herself cry. Because she'd fallen in love with Liam Patterson, with his son, with their small, beautiful, struggling life. Her phone buzzed. A text from Liam. "I want that too, with you, if you'll have us." Charlotte read it 4 times, then typed back with shaking hands. "Yes, yes, I will." The response came immediately. "Good. Because Noah's already planning the wedding. I think you're stuck with us now." Charlotte laughed through her tears. Felt 17 and giddy and terrified. Felt alive. Her phone rang. Liam's name. "Hi." "Hi." She could hear the smile in his voice. "So, we're doing this?" "We're doing this." Charlotte's smile matched his. "Fair warning, I have no idea how to be in a relationship. I'm going to mess up constantly. That makes 2 of us, but we'll figure it out." A pause. "Charlotte, I'm falling in love with you. Probably already have fallen." Her breath caught. "I love you too. You and Noah both. Is that crazy?" "Maybe. But it feels right, doesn't it?" "Yeah, it really does." They talked until midnight. Made plans. Discussed Noah, though Liam suspected the kid already knew. Talked about taking things slow, being careful. But underneath ran certainty. This was real. This was right. When they hung up, Charlotte looked around her empty apartment with new eyes. Saw it for what it was, a place to sleep between work marathons, not a home. She thought about Liam's small apartment with cramped rooms and second-hand furniture. Thought about Noah's laughter filling the space. Thought about belonging somewhere. She fell asleep, smiling, dreaming of possibilities that had nothing to do with profit margins and everything to do with family dinners and bedtime stories and loving 2 people with her whole heart. And for the first time in longer than she could remember, Charlotte Reed felt complete. Years later, people would ask Charlotte about her success, about how she'd transformed coastline logistics from a ruthless efficiency machine into an industry leader in worker satisfaction, about how she'd balanced profit with humanity and proven they weren't mutually exclusive, about the scholarship programs and family support initiatives. She'd smile and give them the practiced answer about studying numbers, about long-term thinking, about sustainable business models. All true, all relevant, but the real answer? The one she kept close to her heart? A trucker named Liam Patterson had sheltered her during a blizzard, had shown her what mattered, had taught her that the measure of a life wasn't in corner offices or bank accounts but in small moments of connection, in bedtime stories and Sunday dinners and loving someone so completely that their happiness became your own. He'd saved her life that frozen night on a Montana highway, but more than that, He'd given her a life worth living. And every day, when she came home to their house bigger than the cabin, still modest by her means, but filled with laughter and love when Liam kissed her hello and Noah ran to show her some new discovery, Charlotte remembered that cold night, remembered being lost, remembered being found, remembered that sometimes the most important business decision you ever make has nothing to do with business at all. It's about choosing love, choosing family, choosing to be seen, choosing to come home.